Today I'm going to give you my S22 Ultra long-term review. This phone came out earlier this year and I've been utilizing it since then. I pre-ordered it when it first came out and I've been taking lots of photos and videos with this phone. It's the primary reason that I use the S22 Ultra. Alright, so there's a lot of Android phones out on the market and a lot of them are great in their different ways, but the S22 Ultra is something special because of its cameras. Yes, it's a bigger phone, it's their flagship, it has all of the features, and some of those features you might not need. But one of the reasons that I'm always carrying the S22 Ultra on me, especially when I'm traveling or going out hiking with my family, or really just doing anything where there might be a potential to take a photo, this phone comes with me because of its versatility. And so this video is going to be heavily focused on the cameras just because that's where this phone really shines. Yes, it has a beautiful display. It has the S Pen. It has a great processor. It may or may not be dual SIM. I've been trying to get that to work and have had limited success. But this phone is just absolutely fantastic, and the other Android phones that I have and have had access to this year, they're great in their own respect, but they don't have the versatility of the cameras on the S22 Ultra. All phones these days have an ultra wide, have a standard camera, some of them have a telephoto camera even, but not many, if any of them, have a telephoto camera like the S22 Ultra. It gives me the versatility to take wide shots of a scene and then also zoom in on a main focal point far off in the distance. And that's where you can't find anything else that works like the S22 Ultra right now. Now, I also use an iPhone, which I think is a great phone and has a great camera, but it doesn't zoom in as far as this phone. If I try to do that, the image falls apart and it's unusable, whereas I get a nice image out of my S22 Ultra. Traveling this year with my family, we traveled for a whole month through many national parks, through Montana, South Dakota, Wyoming. We went to the Tetons and Yellowstone, and many times I didn't want to carry a heavy camera. I have a lot of camera equipment because I'm a photographer and, lots of good lenses and all that stuff as well, but I don't like to carry that stuff on me all the time, especially when I have the S22 Ultra and could get those shots far off in the distance where, I'm not looking to create something that I could sell as a big print or whatever. I just want a nice photo to remember the scene that I saw, and I don't want to carry heavy equipment on me. S22 Ultra is the only phone that gives me that versatility. So, of course it has, like I said, lots of other great features. The S Pen being included on this device is great. I used to really like the Note. The Note typically would even come with better cameras. It would be kind of a precursor to what the Galaxy phone is going to be when they release the new version of the Galaxy phone like 4, 5, 6 months later. But it doesn't look like they're making the Note anymore, and that the Ultra has become the Note, and they've merged that into the Galaxy line or the Galaxy S line. And I'm fine with that because I always went for the bigger phone with the better cameras anyway. So the S Pen, while it being a nice feature, I'm glad that it is on this phone. It's not something that I use quite often, but it is nice to have when I need to notate something or mark up a screenshot or something like that and send it to somebody. It's not very often, but it comes in handy when I need it. As far as the performance of this phone, I've had no problems, even though on a lot of other Android phones I end up having lag issues where things seem kind of jittery until I restart the phone or make sure that I clear out the cache or something like that. Android seems to struggle a little bit with that sometimes. But the S22 Ultra, I don't know if it is the superior performance or just the software that Samsung has that's running alongside of Android that helps with that. I don't have that issue on my S22 Ultra. Now, I don't typically use my Android devices quite as often as my iPhone. I'll be totally honest with you there, but I carry this phone with me all the time. It does have service on it. I have Google Fi service on this phone, and I originally bought it through Google Fi because they offered a killer discount when the phone came out, and there's lots of great deals on this phone. So you may be wondering, is it worth buying this phone? I think that it is, because most phone companies, most phone service companies, carriers are offering big discounts on phones like this. Samsung knows that sales are going to trickle off over time, so the incentives are usually pretty great on their Android devices, and through your carrier you could probably get a pretty good deal. The deals will just continue to get better and better until the S23 comes out. And now if the S23 wasn't to come out next year and the S22 carried on for a whole nother year, I believe that this phone would still be superior to most Android phones that are going to come out next year. And that's kind of a big thing to say, because every year they put the new processor in the phones and the flagships, and things are supposed to get faster and better. But most of the other phone manufacturers don't do cameras like Samsung does. I find that I like the images better out of the Samsung because of the versatility of the different lenses. And I think Samsung has gotten really good with their image processing software as well. It's not super overpowering like it used to. It doesn't turn the skies some crazy sort of blue that's unrealistic. It does a good job at creating an image that represents what you're seeing, as opposed to washing things out or oversaturating them. So performance-wise, the phone is fantastic. Battery life, the phone does really well. Samsung phones in the past kind of struggled with battery life because they had so many things that they were doing, but Samsung's gotten really good with their battery management. Especially being able to set your screen resolution and the refresh rate being only ramping up to the high refresh rate when you need it, it makes for a better experience battery life wise. I've never had the battery run out for me on a single day use. Usually at the end of the day I have 20 to 30% battery life left, and that's even on days where I'm shooting a lot of photo and video, having a lot of screen on time, and usually when I'm doing that I'm posting those images to social media, even backing that stuff up so that I don't lose it in case I lose the phone, stuff like that. So on days where I am heavily using the phone, I still have battery life at the end of the day, and that's great. So the S22 Ultra is one of the best phones that's on the market still, even though it's been out for 6 months or so. If I wasn't so ingrained in the Apple ecosystem with the Mac, the iPad, and the iPhone, and I use my iPad for aviation purposes, I would be more predominantly an Android user. Android phones, I think, are more flexible. They're a lot more fun to use, in my opinion, and customizable, and the S22 Ultra definitely fits that bill. It gives me the performance that I would want and the cameras that are like no other. So if you're looking for a smartphone right now, I think the best phone to get if you're looking for something strong in the cameras is the S22 Ultra. I also had the regular S22, just the small one, for a while. That also is an absolutely fantastic phone. You're just missing out on some of those telephoto features with the camera. But for right now, I still grab the S22 Ultra anytime that I head out to shoot photos or video of anything, and that is why this phone is great. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Do you think the S22 Ultra is the best phone on the market, or do you have another favorite? I'd love to hear about it down there. Make sure you thumbs up this video and subscribe so you can be notified when I put out new videos. But until then, I hope you're having a great one, and I'll see you back in the next video. Take care.